Hi there. So welcome to another edition of the Illuminating Weekly. We're looking at the week of 16th through 22nd of September 2019. And I have prepared the cards. I'm using the Illuminating Journey Cards that I created with the help of the Akashic Records. I'm Jen Duchene, and these cards are available at jenduchene.com/illuminating journey cards. So let's begin. Well, we begin. The first card is the 3 soul portal, the 3 soul portal. So I asked the question, what do we need to know? What's useful to know this week? And so this is the first card that comes through. I'm just going to have a look and see what I'm feeling or picking up around it. I'm just kind of being drawn to the idea of swimming towards the light, swimming towards what is light to us. Like, what is the thing that inspires us, awakens us, brings us closer to what feels aligned and juicy and delicious. And it's this kind of surrendering in a sense. And we use words like surrendering. It's got a lot of different meanings for everyone has a different meaning and interpretation. But this idea of just being in free flow, in the liquid, in the unknown, in the water. We just passed the Pisces full moon. This kind of being, kind of surfacing, like as if we've been in a dark place or in a hidden place, or a place where our desires were hidden from us, or our freedom was, we were constricted from tapping into our freedom. So this really feels like this figure, where you or me or whoever is looking at it, this figure is like, I've felt so cold, so alone, so kind of, or whatever version that is, I felt disconnected from my truth, from my joy. And so it's like this figure is just completely relaxed, allowing the water to help her to rise, her arms very comfortably to the side, just kind of swimming up into the light, towards that warmth, that sense of love, that sense of opening the mind, opening the heart, from the energy coming in, going, oh, it feels so good to be kind of swimming up to the light, to being in the brightness of expression. So that really feels like the figure is just in bliss with the idea of being able to swim towards the light of, you swimming to the light of your own expression, to the light of what you want to work with, what is being revealed to you, what feels like truth for you. So this idea of just having this warmth and everything around aligned to it, the unicorn, the hand of God, this fire coming out of the roses, this just basking in the glow of your own self-expression and the ability to express yourself, and remembering that expressing yourself doesn't always mean with your words. You could express yourself with emotion, open heart, through some creative project, whether it's drawing or writing or cooking or doing math. It doesn't really matter what that is. It's what enables you to go into a place of experience and be in joy with it. Just like, wow, this is amazing. Here I am. I'm feeling that creative fire that is opening me up. It's allowing me to be in expression, to be, to have even my head filled with light and filled with this idea that takes away all of my narrow-minded thinking, all the restrictions about who I think I am or what I can do, and expands that whole container. It's just like this immense light that's coming into the mind, into the heart, into the body, to create ease. So allowing that to happen. Even as you're moving through the stuff and things are changing and unexpected things are happening, is the more you kind of relax and allow yourself to go toward that which has heart meaning to you, something that brings you joy, something that feels expansive. And the thing is, you can actually take an ordinary thing like your day job or anything, it doesn't really matter, being in traffic, something that would normally piss you off or create stress, and go, I want to be in the joy of this experience. I just want to allow myself to swim to the light in this experience so I can have a different idea about what it means to be stuck in traffic or what it means to be in this job that I'm doing. So bringing that conversation to life in a new way by going, I want to see and experience my life through the light, through this idea of being open and expansive and allowing and seeing things through this curious, loving, amazed sense of wonder. Right? So that feels really exciting to be in that space. The second card, and now this is interesting because we have this card, the number 3, right? The soul portal number 3. And then we have the second one, which is also in water. So it's very interesting because they're both in water. This is more green and this is more blue. There's a lot happening, but different in the sense that there's also a unicorn. It's a black unicorn. It's a lot of color. There's a 3 with a 1. It's a 13. So soul portal 13. There is all of this sense of the dragon, the pearl, the black unicorn, the phoenix, all of this energy coming into the space, and the earth on fire, right? A fireball of new creation, of something happening that is awakening us to seeing the world in a new place. So think about expanding your willingness to see things in a new way, and then beginning to see and understand the destruction of what has been. So this, to me, is speaking of getting ready for change. So the things that you may have relied on or look to stay the same are beginning to kind of fall apart. And that idea of the phoenix is really about the knowing that death is what allows us to rise. The death of the old, the death of what we're done with allows us to kind of have a different experience and feel the, even the burning of the earth, like we are thinking, oh, it's all a disaster. But what if it isn't a disaster? What if this is the way forward? What is the way we get through it is by recognizing that there is a cycle to life and allowing ourselves to be drawn into the beauty of the cycle and not into the despair of it. Oh, everything's ending. This is terrible. How can I hold on to it? But instead being in that watery energy of, oh, I see. The pearl comes from releasing the struggle. Right? Releasing an insistence that there be a struggle or that things be a certain way. So allowing the world to kind of show us or show you what happens when things we've relied on begin to fall apart. Like, not the things we imagine will happen. Right? We imagine in our minds, oh, it's a disaster. I've got to make sure everything that I know stays the way it's been. And most often, and it might not be obvious in the beginning because it can be painful when we're seeing things we've built or loved or relied on falling apart, it can be very painful. And yet being able to go, oh, I can feel the energy of that cycle. Like as this old stuff is breaking apart and collapsing, that it's creating that pull of wisdom, that pull of new things to come, the phoenix bursting out, from the flame becomes this new way of being. So it feels incredibly potent and quite delicious And then the third card, so this time we have 3 portal cards, which is very interesting, very full of energy. And the third one is the 12. And what's fascinating here is 1 and 2 make 3. So we have another 3, remembering we started off with the 3. And it's kind of an interesting idea if you put these 2 together and think about what's in the middle, right? The breaking down of things, the collapsing of what is known in order for the pull and the change to occur, is this energy of like swimming up to the light, to know oneself. I want to know myself in the sense, I want to know my connection to the divine. I want to express myself so I can be in connection to what is holy and beyond me, and give me not only empowerment but also the idea of finding that wholeness or connection to what's around me. And then this side of it, being aware in a different way entirely, the awareness of what I'm seeking and the awareness of knowing that this is a journey that I must take. So being ready to take a new journey, to kind of look at this energy and all of the experiences you've had over time, and what is this all revealing? What is all this that of knowledge and acquiring of things? What is all of that? How is that making this circle in your life? How is it making an archway that you can step through? The knowledge you've acquired, the experiences you've had, how can you now build a archway with that stuff and say, okay, all of this is here. Here's the temple of all of these things. And now I'm taking that and I'm moving through it, away from it. It's like I'm not losing my knowledge. I'm letting go of the attachment of it, right? That I'm attached to my stories, because I truly am connecting to what is greater, to the wisdom that is beyond my knowledge. I'm stepping into the unknown. I'm rising above, or I'm letting go. I'm tapping into what is incredibly potent and powerful. And yes, whatever needs to be kind of whatever needs to fall apart will and must, and it's okay. I'm okay with it, because this is where I'm going, right? This is where I am. This is where I'm going. Also, what's very fascinating about this is the 12 is we're in a universal 12 year, which of course adds up to 3. 1 plus 2 make 3. And this month we are in the 21 universal month. So that's another 3. So we have a lot of 3 showing up, and a lot of it to do with creativity and being willing to be curious and open and just explore for the sake of exploration and for experience, not because you want a specific result. And this card to me right now in this reading feels very sacred. It feels very holy in the sense of not I'm removing myself from the world, but instead I'm stepping into the world. And it's kind of funny, because when I'm looking at the this right here now, and I'm looking at the reflection, it feels like a great beast of the earth that is this mythic energy coming forward and kind of posing the question, what do you want? Like, what is the essence of your journey forward? And the figure kind of going, I really want to, gain the wisdom that I'm ready to gain right now. And will you give me passage? Will you allow me to walk through these spaces, through the halls of experience, so I can turn my knowledge into wisdom? So it feels incredibly powerful. And I just find it so interesting, like these 2 figures, what they're kind of facing one another. So it's like they're on the other side. They each on one side looking towards the other, starting from here, going here, and then creating that circle through the this one, through this idea of how do we how do we activate the pearl? How do we activate the phoenix? And that's all through the flame of, dissolution, allowing or releasing the hold on what has been in order to go forward. So it feels incredibly potent, the reading this week. It feels very personal in the sense of each of us needing to go into what is true for us, what is our journey. Yes, of course, we're in this together, but the clearer we are of what brings us value, in the sense of that idea of swimming to the light, right? Swimming into that place of traveling into the unknown and being willing to take the journey. Another version of traveling into the unknown is just, what are you going to bring? You bring curiosity and courage and a determination and a willingness to fail and a willingness to look foolish. And all of these things that this card, the 13, Soul Portal 13, is showing us. That the journey, it's almost like this is the going on a journey, right? You going on a journey, me, all of us going on our journeys. We think we're individually doing it, but we're all doing it together. And this is the journey, right? We must face our fears. We must deal with the things that come up that may look like disasters. And we must recognize that there's a cycle to it. There's an evolution, and that the reward is in this journey, taking the journey, being willing to devote ourselves to this idea of who we truly are and how we want to be in the world, as opposed to waiting from signs from other people to tell us who we are and how we need to act. So that's the reading for this week. Let me know if you saw something I didn't share or what came up for you listening to the reading. I am Jen Duchene, as I mentioned, and these cards are for sale on my website, jenduchene.com/illuminating journey cards. And of course, if you like the channel, please subscribe and like. Feel free to share your opinion, share this with others, and I will see you next week. Thank you.